So one of the main topics that was written down that you said you needed help with was solving Gaussian elimination method. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we are in standard form. And the letters need to be in alphabetical order. So the variables are on the left side of the equal sign, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. So we're set. Okay, number two, we want to set up a matrix. Now remember, the goal is to have a 1 to start with. So as you look at these equations, we have a 1 right here. So we can go ahead and just move this equation to the top and use this as our first row. So setting up our matrix, we'll have 1, -5, -2, -4 for our first row. And then we'll just make this one our second row. And then this can be our third row. Okay. Next, we need to apply the row operations, which I gave you in a previous video. So apply row operations. And so we want to get a 0 below the 1 in both of these two rows. So the simple process for doing that is to multiply the row with the 1 in it, that would be row 1, by this number right here. So we're going to multiply row 1 by this number right here. Okay, and then we're going to subtract row 2. And this is going to yield a new row 2. And to get a 0 in this row, same process, we're going to multiply the row with the 1 in it by this number right here. And then subtract row 3 to get a new row 3. So the next thing we want to do is do the math. So the first row is going to stay the same. And let's do the math. So 2 times 1 is 2, minus 2 is 0. 2 times -5 is -10. -10 minus 3 is -13. 2 times -2 is -4. -4 minus 4 is -8. 2 times -4 is -8. -8 minus 2 is -10. Okay, the next thing we want to do is the next operation. So we're going to multiply row 1 by 5 and then subtract row 3. So 5 times 1 is 5, minus 5 is 0. So here we get 5 times -5, which is -25. -25 minus -2 is -23. 5 times 4 is 20. Sorry. 5 times -2, row 1, is -10. -10 minus 3 is -13. 5 times -4 is -20. -20 minus 0 is -20. The next thing we want to do is we want to start going now to column 2. So we're going to start by getting the 1 here. So to get a 1 in this spot, we're going to go ahead and divide this row by this number. So we're going to take row 2 and divide it by -13. So for row 2 now, we're going to have, well, let's write down row 1 first. And a -8 divided by a -13 is going to be a positive 8/13. And same thing here, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so we're going to have 10/13. All right, Now, we want to get a 0 in this spot. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write this down. And then we'll do the row operation. So remember, we're going to multiply this row by this number right here. So negative 23 times row 2. And then we subtract row 3 to get a new row 3. So the first row stays the same. Second row stays the same. And doing the math, negative 23 times 0 is 0, minus 0 is 0. Negative 23 times 1 is negative 23, minus negative 23 is 0. Okay, this is where we would probably want to get the calculator out. So I'm going to get my calculator out here and do the math here. So we got 8/13 times negative 23 minus negative 13. Got to be real careful. All right, so we're going to get a negative 15/13. Okay, doing the process here, we're going to have negative 23 times 10/13 subtract negative 20 and we're going to get 30/13. Okay, and then finally we've got our 0 here. And lastly, we want to get the 1 down here so we can be in row echelon form. All right, so we're going to multiply row 3 by the reciprocal, which would be negative 13/15. So we're going to get a new row 3. So 0 times anything is 0. 0 times anything is 0. Negative 15/13 times the reciprocal is always going to be 1. And then I'm going to use my calculator here just to be on the safe side. So 30/13 times negative 13/15. And we get negative 2. Okay, so we have this solution right here. So recall back up at the original equations, the last one is going to represent C. So we have found that C is equal to negative 2. So this column is going to be B. So we have 1B plus 8/13 times C, we'll plug that in just a moment, equals 10/13. So we're going to solve for B, so we're going to plug the negative 2 in here. And now we're going to solve this for B. So this is going to be negative 16/13, adding 16/13 on both sides. So 10 plus 16 is 26. Denominator stays the same. So B is equal to 2. I'm sorry. I added 16/13 to cancel that out. Added 16/13 over here. 10 plus 16 is 26. Denominator stays the same. Divide, we get 2. So now we know that B is equal to 2. So finally we have to do the last 1 to find A. So we have 1A minus 5B minus 2C equals -4. So plugging in what we know, we plug 2 in for B, we plug -2 in for C, solving for A, doing the math, we get A minus 6 equals -4, adding 6 on both sides, we get A equals 2. Now we have 3 answers, so we're going to put it into an ordered triple in alphabetical order. So the A value goes first, then the B value, then the C value. And this is the point where these 3 lines intersect. I hope this helps you. Hope you're having a good weekend. I'll see you all on Monday.